Hi Year 10, welcome to week 2 of online learning and lesson 1. So topic this week is Mi Instituto, as it was last week. So we're doing more on schools this week, particularly today and the other 2 lessons this week, looking at facilities in your school, what it has, what it doesn't have, and also comparing and contrasting with what your primary school was like. So we're doing some work on the imperfect tense as well. Okay, so if you can write the date and the title, please. The title is Mi Instituto. The date you can work out, please. Underline it in your exercise books. Okay, once you've done that, you can move on with the video. And ¿cuántas palabras hay aquí? So there are lots of words here that I'd like you, please, to put into categories. So the words of the, sorry, one cat. There are 2 plus 3 is 5, 9, 10, 11, 13 words that have all got scrunched up together. You need to separate them out and put them into different categories, please. Type of school, description words. What are things? What are things like? Instalaciones, facilities. Asignaturas, that's a word for subject. Opinión, there's an opinion in there. And otras. So what other words that you can't put into one of these categories? Pause the video, do the task, start again when you've done it. Off you go. Okay, so I'm assuming you paused and you've now done the work and you've got a grid filled out with these words that you need to look for. So, tipo de instituto, 2 palabras. Tenemos mixto y masculino. So it's a mixed school for girls and boys. If it's just for boys, it's masculino. If it were just for girls, it would be femenino. Descripción. Hay 3 palabras que describe. Okay. Tenemos grande, moderno, especializado en. All of those are descriptions of a school. Your school might be big, grande. It might be modern. It might be specialized in a particular subject. Instalaciones, facilities. We've got 4 words in this mess here, a muddle of words, which are facilities. Laboratorios, labs, laboratories. Gimnasio, a gym. Piscina, a swimming pool. Be nice to have one of those at Weydon. Cafeteria, a cafeteria. Asignaturas, there's a subject in there, which is matemáticas, maths. There's also an opinion, útil. So that's an adjective describing what something is like. So it's an opinion, if something is useful. You might have got that under description as well. And otras palabras, alumnos y profesores. What category should we have had? So you could put those into it. The pupils and teachers. So maybe it could have been gente, people. All right. So once you need to correct your work, make sure that you copy things and you understand them all. Pause the video to do that. When you're ready, move on. Okay. So assuming you're now ready to move on, these are the learning outcomes or the objectives for this week. Looking at vocabulary about school life in present and in the imperfect, how to talk about your primary school, learn some exclamations. You're going to do some writing and you're, by the end of the week, going to be setting targets on how to improve. So, en mi insti, in my school there is or there are. Now, I'm going to go through this fairly quickly because there's no point in you can pause it and do the extra checking for yourself. So I'll go through it at normal speed. You can then go back and repeat it as and when you need to understand the facilities. Here we go. En mi instituto hay muchas instalaciones, por ejemplo, and here we've got some things here. So can you see how many of these can you understand? We're going to see all of these in a second. Muchas aulas, muchos laboratorios, la recepción, una cafetería, un comedor, una piscina, unas canchas de tenis, un césped artificial. I beg your pardon, there's a letter missing there. It should be artificial with an L. I'll change it in a second. Una pista de atletismo, un gimnasio, una biblioteca, el despacho del director, una sala de profesores, un salón de actos, un patio. Okay, so you're going to see pictures of these, but how many of those can you work out already? Have a think for a couple of minutes, pause the video. When you're ready, move on. Okay, so how many do you think you're going to know before you see them? Okay, a la izquierda tenemos muchas aulas. So aulas are classrooms, and there's lots of them, muchas aulas. Muchos laboratorios. So what can you tell me by looking at muchas and muchos? Is you can tell me that laboratorios is masculine. So when there are lots of them, it's muchos. Aulas are feminine, and when there are lots of them, then you have muchas aulas. La recepción, the reception. Una cafetería, un comedor. There's a cafeteria, there's a dining hall. Comer is to eat. Where you eat is un comedor, a dining hall. Esta es la piscina. Hay una piscina. Aquí tenemos instalaciones para el deporte, so facilities for sports. A la izquierda tenemos unas canchas de tenis. A la derecha, un césped artificial, so an artificial, what do you call it, an all-weather pitch. Césped is actually a lawn, so if I wanted to save myself some work, I could get un césped artificial in my garden, but we're using it here to talk about all-weather pitches at school. A la izquierda tenemos un gimnasio, a gym. A la derecha, una biblioteca, the library. Or the LRC, you'd call it now, but library is biblioteca. A la izquierda tenemos el despacho del director, so it's the head teacher's office. El director is the head teacher. You might also have una, as we do, una directora, a principal who's female. A la derecha, una sala de profes, a teacher's room, teacher's staff room. Aquí tenemos un salón de actos, so it's the hall where you can put on performances, so you'd call it a hall. Un patio, a playground. To be fair, that picture looks more like a road, but it is, un patio is a playground. Maybe the bit just safely off the road is the playground. Okay, so you've seen all of those. You can go back and look at them again if you want to, but now I'd like you please to copy the vocab, Spanish and English. Aquí tenemos primero el español. Los números 1 a 13, I think it was. No, número 12. Okay, a la derecha tenemos el inglés. So I'm just going to put these up quickly. You've just seen them, but make sure you know them. Maybe make sure you understand what these are. Okay, just go back just before we do this. So remember, there's Spanish, English. That word here, artificial, is artificial, so it should have an L on it. Okay, so once you've paused the video while you write that down, don't move on till you've got it all completely done. When you are ready to move on, please do. Here we have a listening. Now there is a sound file that I've posted in Google Classroom that you need to find for this. So pause the video, go and find the listening file and do that listening activity. You're looking out for what this school has and doesn't have. For example, here, there are 3 things that it has, 1 that it hasn't. Now use the letter here to write down what it has and what it doesn't have, rather than try to fit this with all the words. So just use the key down there on the left-hand side, put in the letters here. On the final column, please, can you write down what the opinion is of the school, of the facilities? You should have either positive, negative, or possibly both. So are they saying their school is great because it has some really good science laboratories? On the other hand, the library isn't very good. So that would then be positive and negative. Okay, so to do this work, pause the video, find the sound file. When you're ready, resume the video. Okay, so assuming you've now resumed the video, you've done the listening task, what you have here are the answers. So the first one, it was J, I, and A, una pista de atletismo, una piscina, y unos laboratorios. That's what it had. What it didn't have was un campo de fútbol. I'm just going to find the transcript here and just check if there's any extra information, because pretty much always on these listenings you will find that there are some extra bits of information, and always try and listen out for those and write them down if you get the chance, so you're getting more information. He was saying lo malo es que no hay campo de fútbol. So the bad thing is we don't have a football pitch. So the opinion there was positive and negative. I think these appear in a second. But there were good things about it, but the bad thing was it didn't have a football pitch. Number 2, C, K, and L are the things that it has. So unas aulas, un salón de actos, y un patio. So that's what it had. They liked the fact that the classrooms are grandes y modernas. So that was definitely positive. They have conciertos y obras de teatro in the hall. So that was good. Pero no hay una biblioteca. There wasn't a library. So that's definitely something that was not good. So eso es lo malo, es bueno, or lo bueno es que tenemos un patio grande. So they got a big playground. Número 3 things that it had. H, B, and E. So that's un campo de fútbol, unos vestuarios, and un gimnasio. Now that word unos vestuarios, B, it's changing rooms. Since you're learning that word, you may as well learn the other words that go with it. So, un vestido, B-E-S-T-I-D-O, is a dress. Vestirse is to get dressed. It's reflexive because you dress yourself. To help you remember this, in a church, the vestry is where the rector or the vicar puts on particular robes for particular ceremonies. So all of these stem from the same root in Latin, which is as they all come from the same root. So vestir, vestirse, vestuario, vestido, and so on. What didn't this school have? Oh, maybe there was nothing. Maybe it didn't mention anything. Okay, I think it was only H, B, and E that was mentioned. Okay, number 4, L, F, and D. Un patio, una biblioteca, un comedor. Not sure if it didn't have anything. No, it had there's only things that it had that was mentioned. Right, so as I went back, we already had positive and negative for the first one in terms of opinions. Number 2, they liked it because it had big modern classrooms, a really good hall, but there wasn't a library. So again, that's positive and negative. Number 3, it's a very big school. They liked the sports, and what they most liked was playing football. They have an enormous football pitch and some new changing rooms. There's also a really modern gym. So that is all absolutely positive. And then for the last one, we've got, they didn't have very good facilities. There was a small playground, a library without any books, and they also had a new dining hall, but the food was terrible. They hate their school, so that's all negative. Now, I've gone through and I've picked out some extra information there. Go back, use the sound file again that you've got attached to make sure you can understand this, and think about how they're putting this stuff together. Things like lo malo que, lo bueno que, or lo bueno es que, lo malo es que. The good thing is that, the bad thing is that. And then compare and contrast different ideas, which will really help improve your writing and your speaking. Okay, so pause the video to check all of that, and when you're ready, move on. Okay, so now there is a Quizlet for this lesson. The Quizlet link is posted on Google Classroom, and this will practice the vocab we've just learned. Now, please can you go through each of the learn activities before you go to the test activities, to check your learning. I put the link there as well if you want to copy it, but it'd be quicker to copy and paste from Google Classroom into your browser. But as I say, make sure you spend some time on each of the learning activities before moving to the test. So, sorry, my cat is trying to get up again. Right, once you have done that, or pause the video for a second to make sure you know what you're doing, and then do the Quizlet. When you've done the Quizlet, that is just review these objectives, which is what we're looking at today. Okay, so we've done mostly today by looking at vocabulary. We're going to look at primary school and so on tomorrow. Thank you very much indeed. Year 10, that is your end of lesson 1 for this week. Thank you.